ranking videos. You gotta know what you're talking about. Most of the time. Most videos on YouTube about Clash Royale cards are from a professional standpoint, but me? I ain't no professional. I'm ass cheeks at this game. Today, I wanted to rank every Clash Royale card in the game, but the only difference is that I just play for fun, and this list is probably gonna be incredibly different and piss off a lot of people. Basically, I'm ranking cards based on how I like them, so f the meta, and let's just get into it.
Let's do this.
The log. It's impossible not to like the log. I mean, what is there even to hate about it? It's a trunk with spikes, and it does its job right every single time. If you somehow f up using the log, that's your fault. It's come in clutch so many times, and it never fails you. I feel like the log deserves to be in God tier. Hog Rider. I personally don't like using Hog Rider decks, but I've used them in the past, and I mean, come on, it's a hog deck. The classic, man. I don't think it's God, though. It's pretty good. Archer Queen. You know, I don't really use the Archer Queen because I don't have it. Anyways, based on my feelings for her in my ranking Clash females at Hug video, God tier, man. That's literally it. She might be ass at the game. I have no idea, but God tier. Expo. Okay, hear me out. The reason this is gonna go in God tier is because, okay, just kidding. Annoying. Plain and simple. Actually, at the very beginning of annoying. Well, I mean, we haven't really added anything to it yet, but you'll see. Sparky. Bro, man. I originally had a hate tier on this chart, but I decided not to include it because I felt like it was dumb to have an entire tier just for the Sparky. Anyways, I absolutely hate this card, and annoying is as close as I'll get to hating a card on this chart. There's too many tiers. I don't want to add more. Elite Barbarians. If it was 2016 or 2017, I would have put them at the annoying tier, but it's 2022, and hating on the Elite Barbarians is so cringe. They are no longer the headache they once were. In my eyes though, they're just okay. For the Elixir, they sure are countered very easily, so they're okay. Skeleton Army. For 3 Elixir and the chance to take out an entire Golem, Mega Knight, or even other beefy cards, yeah, it's up there on my favorites. The only thing I hate, and it's probably going to be the same for everyone, it's just how easily they die. Literally anything will counter this. For the simple fact that they can die easily, I can't put it any higher than decent. Mega Knight. He's definitely been nerfed into oblivion, but I still f with the Mega Knight, man. He's so interesting to use. Dropping down from the sky, taking out small troops, showing everyone who's boss. The jumping. Even though he's not as good as he used to, I feel like the Mega Knight is still a decent card. At least to me. Valkyrie. This is one of those cards that I hate when people use. I feel like it has infinite health, and when I use it, it dies in 2 seconds. What kind of shit is that? It's not that bad though. I'm gonna say okay for the Valkyrie. Prince. Who even uses the Prince anymore? It gets distracted by literally anything. It never connects to the tower, and it's incredibly easy to take out. You know what? I feel like this is really annoying as well. If he charges to any of your troops, it either kills them or takes most of their health, and that's never fun. To me, it's an annoying card. Ram Rider. Honestly, I don't use this, and I have never found a reason to use the Ram Rider. Maybe it's just not unique enough for 5 Elixir. So, I think this is the first one on my list to be a card that I do not use. Now let me explain before a lot of people get triggered. The last tier is not supposed to be like the worst cards. It's simply cards that I simply ignore or never use or simply don't want to use. It's not a bad tier, okay? It's just like, I don't use those cards. That's it. Lumberjack. If you use it right, it can be super OP, but only if you use it right, which I think is a skill to learn on its own. It's pretty decent. Wizard. I hate the elixir cost of the wizard, but I can't lie. I love the combination of the wizard and tornado, but other than that, I rarely ever use the wizard outside of like a global tournament or challenges or 2v2. I'm gonna go with okay. Bowler. I find this card very annoying. I like ground decks, and this son of a bitch is always knocking out my troops like we're playing fucking bowling. I mean, I know that's the entire point of the concept of the card, but I hate it. It's so annoying to deal with. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. Princess. Everyone and their mama was using the princess in 2016 when we only had like 4 legendary options. But over time, I feel like we have gotten better options. I don't know, I rarely build a deck with the princess, but she isn't annoying or anything, just, she's okay. Golem. For those who have been watching me since like 2017, you know my favorite card is the Golem. We go way back, man. Automatic God tier. I don't want to get into the specifics on why I like it so much, but to sum it up in a couple sentences, it's easy to make pushes with the Golem, both in Clash Royale and Clash of Clans. And I guess I'm just a huge fan of big, strategized pushes with a heavy card like the Golem. I like heavy decks, and the Golem just, it fits, you know? Musketeer. There's literally nothing special about the Musketeer. It shoots at a slightly longer range than most cards, and that's it. For what it does though, it's pretty decent. You know, there's not much you can hate about the Musketeer. Baby Dragon. Like I mentioned previously, I'm a big fan of heavy pushes, and the Baby Dragon just goes really well with the Golem push. I wish it was as good as it used to be though. Definitely not God tier, but just one lower. Miner. I wish I knew how to use it better, but I'm absolutely dog shit at bait decks, and I don't know, it's a good card, I guess, so I'm gonna do the Miner a solid and put it at good. Bandit. Man, honestly, the Golden Knight has taken the Bandit spot for me. It doesn't mean I don't use it though, it's just one of those cards that I feel like, to me, there's better options. I'm gonna go with okay, simply because it's good if you utilize it correctly. Bomber. I'd like to use the Bomber more if it didn't die to every little thing, but when it's alive and throwing them bombs, it's super useful, especially for the cost, man. I know some people will disagree with me, but I'm gonna say if you can learn how to use it and when to drop it, it's a good card. Mirror. I don't use this, just gonna be straightforward. I literally never have a reason to deploy the same thing twice. I know there's strategies where this is very useful and it would probably be somewhere in God or good, but just for me, I don't like the card, I don't use it. Minion Horde. I can never justify the cost of these damn things when they can be taken out by arrows. You don't even need arrows actually, just zap them and something else will take care of them. For that reason, I never build decks with the Minion Horde, but honestly, if they somehow remain alive, they are super deadly, man. Because it's my list though, I'm just gonna throw it in okay. Mini P.E.K.K.A. For 4 elixir, it's not that bad, but why does it die so quick, man? Is it just me, but everything feels like it dies like way quicker than it did in 2016. Anyways, it would have been like God tier if it actually survived literally anything, but it doesn't. Or at least that's my experience, I don't know. I wish it was better, but I'm gonna put it at okay. Electro Wizard. It used to be God tier, but not anymore. They always nerf the good ones, man, but for the simple fact that it's basically a mobile zap to reset things like Inferno and don't make me say the name, man. I think it's a good card to have in your deck. Executioner. Another God tier card that has fallen from grace. It's not his fault though. Supercell nerfed him into oblivion. I feel like you can still use it and it's incredibly useful, but man, it's so hard to like now, I don't know. Most people will argue that he's pretty balanced, but for me, I don't know, he's not the same. Magic Archer. I wish the Magic Archer was better. The shots aren't as powerful as you'd hope for 4 elixir, and I can never find a reason to use him compared to like a Musketeer, Firecracker, and a Princess. There's just better and cheaper options. Ice Wizard. I'm not even trying to be funny, but who uses this in 2022, man? I'm not really caught up in the meta so much, so it could be a very popular card at the moment, and I have no idea. But personally, I don't remember the last time I used the Ice Wizard, maybe 2018, 2019. Hunter. Up close, deadly. But when he's not near the troop, I don't know, man, 4 elixir? I wish he could walk up to the troops, but he kind of just stands a little far away, and I know that's probably intentional, but I don't like that he does that. I would like to see a more improved Hunter, so I wish it was better. Just don't make it OP, but I do wish it was a little better than it is. Goblin Giants. Another card that I never use. I've probably used it twice the entire time it's been out. And cards like this are the reason why I made a tier just for cards I don't use. I don't feel like it would be fair for me to rank a card I do not use. So it's no different with the Goblin Giant. Zap. God tier. It's cheap, simple, and straight to the point, just like the log. Ice Golem. For 2 elixir, it makes up a nice distraction and meat shield. I personally don't use it, but I know its uses and how good it can be, despite never doing any real damage. It's decent, and the times I have used it, it's always been positive. Royal Giants. Another card that went from hanging with the greats before getting nerfed. It used to be good, but now I just wish it was slightly better. Or maybe I just think that way because I got so used to it being so good, and then when they balanced it, it was a little too bad for me. I don't know. Fire Spirits. 1 elixir for what essentially can take out a horde of troops is very good. Arrows. You can't go wrong with arrows. Well, I guess you can if they aren't high enough in level, but that's more of a personal issue. If you have it high enough to one-shot stuff like goblins and minions, God tier all the way. Insane value if you use it correctly. Electro Spirit. Never use it. It's probably good, but no. Skeleton King. I seriously want to love this card, but I just can't. It doesn't live up to its name in my opinion. I just wish it was better. Maybe I'm using it wrong or something, but it's not very effective at what it does. Or at least every time I use it. Maybe, like I said, it's just me and the way I use it, but personally, I wish it was a little better. Knights. He can take some damage and put up a fight. And for 3 elixir, it's hard to pass up. Though, I believe it's been nerfed sometime last year or something like that. I have no idea, but if we're going based on my opinion like this entire video, I think he's a very decent card. Night Witch. Of course not as good as she once was, but I still love using the Night Witch. Her bats is what makes me use the Night Witch over the Witch because she can target ground and her bats will target air. Well, I guess you can say the same thing about the regular Witch. Her skeletons target ground and she targets ground and air. Anyways, the Night Witch is 1 elixir less, so it's better. I think she's good. Witch. Like I just said, I personally prefer the Night Witch since it's cheaper and has the bats, but the regular Witch is good in her own ways too. Honestly though, if I was building a deck, it's the Night Witch. The Witch seems too heavy for what she does, so I don't know, she's decent. Skeletons. Larry and half the squad. I really don't use it, but if I did, since it's 1 elixir, it would probably be God or good for cycle reasons. Goblin Barrel. Man, if you can get this thing to land and actually attack the tower, it's decent. If you can get it to land, attack, all while the tower is distracted, God tier. Of course though, we all know this isn't always the case and the Goblin Barrel can be a hit or miss sometimes. Literally. I'm gonna put it in between God and decent. Royal Ghost. It's okay. It reminds me of a ghost version of the Knight, but I don't think it's good. I don't have much to say about it. Rascals. I don't use them. Yeah, that's it. Tornado. I've actually been using this more often again, paired with cards like the Baby Dragon, Wizard, or even the Firecracker. It's nice. This is up there with the greats for me. Fireball. It's a little expensive, but it never fails to do its job. It's kind of like the arrows, so if it's not high enough, you might as well not use it. But I mean, that's every spell. It's going to be the same thing for basically every card in the game. If it's not high enough, then maybe think twice about using it. Other than that, the Fireball never disappoints. Inferno Dragon. Man, when this mother sucker locks onto your tower, it's game over for you. Luckily, it's easy to counter sometimes, but that other sometimes is enough to annoy me. You know when? When it locks onto my golem across the river. God damn! Just one of those cards I hate dealing with when it's across the river. Inferno Tower. Not only do I not use it, but it's annoying as f. You know, I think it's more annoying than the Inferno Dragon because it doesn't move. I often find myself just carrying a Lightning, Zap, or Electro Wizard to deal with it, but I hate dealing with Inferno Towers. Archers. For 3 elixir, they're decent. I was gonna put these at okay, but I mean, I can't lie, if they manage to not die, they do some decent damage. Minions. I'm gonna put these right next to the archers. I feel like it's the exact same thing. If they stay alive and actually do their job, it's a decent card. Firecracker. I don't know if anyone will agree with me, but I love the Firecracker. I think she's a good card. I don't know what it is, maybe the fact that she pushes away from the enemy or actually has okay damage for 3 elixir, or the fact that it can also target multiple troops. It's probably a combination of all of those things, to be honest. Poison. It's a decent card, I already know. I don't use it as much as I used to, but it's nice to use sometimes, especially against hordes of troops. It's decent. Mega Minion. Man, I can't remember the last time I used the Mega Minion. I remember when it came out in 2016 and everyone was using it. It was a game changer. But nowadays though, I feel like it dies too quick and just doesn't feel the same. I wish it was better like the good old days, not OP, just better. Balloon. You know, when it actually connects to the tower, it's satisfying or annoying depending on which side of the river you're in. But that's the thing, it never gets to the tower. Well, at least for me. I don't know, maybe I'm doing it wrong. But I'm gonna put it at annoying because I hate when I have to deal with balloons. Elixir Golem. Okay, now everyone is gonna hate me for this one, but God tier. This is my type of card, man. I love when it connects to the tower and it splits and does all that damage and you got a witch behind it. And man, it's a feeling that no other card has, to be honest. Giant Skeleton. This is gonna be another okay card. I do not wish it was better and actually do use it every now and then, so I feel like the okay tier is where it should be. The only reason it's not decent is because for 6 elixir, this dude cannot defend himself for nothing. If you drop him alone, you might as well throw away 6 elixir. The only time I find myself using the Giant Skeleton is when I'm trying to destroy someone's push or distract their push. But for 6 elixir, man, I just think there's better options. Rocket. This may come as a surprise, but I don't use the rocket. I may have used it once for a challenge, but when I'm making decks for 2v2 or global tournaments, which is what I play basically, I never consider the rocket as a good card that I want to bring. It's just too heavy, like it makes any deck so heavy. Tesla. This is a tough one to rank. It doesn't feel like it's just okay, but I mean, you know what? If I had to choose the Tesla over the cannon, it would definitely be the Tesla because it can target air. It's decent. Golden Knight. I have a lot of fun using the Golden Knight. It may not be as powerful as you'd expect, but the ability on this guy is my favorite part. It's like a way better bandit. Some will completely disagree with me, but this card is up there with the Golem and the Elixir Golem, all that. Rage. I don't know, man. Every time I need a rage spell, I just use a lumberjack. Like, I never carry just a rage. I'm not saying the rage is useless, but for my playstyle, I just really never use it. Snowball. Another card I don't use. I'm sure if I did, it would be in God or Good for the simple fact that it's a nice cycle card, but I'm not a big fan of fast-paced decks, and in heavier decks, I just never feel like I need a snowball. Graveyard. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I certainly don't think it's just okay though, so definitely a good card. No wait, no, it's decent. I don't think it's as good as, yeah, just decent. Furnace. God, I haven't used this since like 2017 or 2018, back when the Royal Giant was still taking over the game. Yes, I was one of those people. Anyways, I'm gonna put it as a card I don't use because it's been such a long time and I can't remember if when I used to use it, if it was annoying or good or I don't know. I just used to use it with the Royal Giant. Other than that, I rarely ever use this and today I don't use it at all. Guards. I don't mind using the guards, they provide good uses occasionally, but when I'm building a deck, the guards are more like an afterthought, so I'm gonna have to go with just okay. Spear Goblins. Can't remember the last time I used them, to be honest. I prefer the Goblin Gang, so there you go. Bomb Tower. All I know is that my wife uses this and it doesn't seem to do much or stay up for long. Every building in the game has gotten nerfed some way or another. As far as what I can see though, maybe if the bomb tower was better, it would have been worth using, but that's probably not gonna happen. Lightning. I know some will probably destroy me in the comments for this, but in my opinion, this is God tier, man. Look, this thing can destroy entire pushes and leave the enemy with nothing. Nada! That's enough for me. I don't use it all the time, but when I do, it never fails, man. It's a little expensive, but it's worth it to me. Barbarian Barrel. I don't know if people actually like this card, but I do know that my wife also uses the Barbarian Barrel. It must not be that bad. In my opinion though, I just don't see a lot of reasons to use this over the log. I mean, I guess the Barbarian that it drops is decent, and it is 2 elixir, so yeah, it's a good card. I can't lie, if the log didn't exist, this would be my first choice. Freeze. I actually find the freeze rather annoying. It just lasts too long, or maybe I'm just impatient. It's probably both. I hate when someone freezes my push and they take that as a chance to counter my entire push. Or better yet, when they freeze their counter to a hog or a balloon and hell no, man. I hate this card. Ice Spirit. This is automatically a good card to me. I wouldn't say God tier because I don't think freezing something for a couple seconds will save you the entire game most of the time. It's certainly useful in many situations though, and for 1 elixir, I mean, you can't go wrong. Goblin Gang. The Goblin Gang is the perfect mix of goblins for just 3 elixir, and even though it's not all that, it can counter a lot of cards with ease. For me, this card is up there with the greats. Once again, just under God tier. Dark Prince. I would much rather use this card over the Prince any day, simply because it does splash damage and has a shield. Like, damn, does the Prince have a shield? No, he's better in every alley except maybe HP and damage, but I really don't care about stats in this chart, so Dark Prince to me, it's gonna go higher than the Prince, but that doesn't mean it's a good card to me. To be honest, it's more like okay. Mother Witch. I actually still don't have the Mother Witch unlocked, and I know what you're thinking, how the f. It might be bad luck or something, I don't know, but one thing I do know, the fact that it can turn troops into hogs is awesome. This thing against a horde is the best. Of course, it's not always going to go smoothly, but when it works as expected, it's definitely a good card. Royal Hogs. I'm sure they're a good card, but I don't use it. For 5 elixir, hogs? I mean, I feel like they don't do much, and I generally stay away from this, so maybe if they were somehow better, maybe, but yeah, I don't use it. Barbarians. I haven't used them in a while. It's more like once in a blue moon. Honestly though, I don't hate or love this card. It's just meh. It's okay. For 5 elixir, I think you get a fair value, but it's nothing amazing. Cannon carts. The cannon cart is decent to me. I don't use it as much as I'd like to, probably because it's elixir cost, but whenever I do use it, it's a nice card to play with. It's fun. I don't mind it at all. Tombstone. Yo, I forgot this card even existed until it came up on this list. You already know where this is going. Barbarian Hut. Annoying. I hate having to deal with any spawner building, but this one especially. You can't ignore the barbarians, and I just find that really annoying. It changes the way I play for the rest of the match. I hate it. Skeleton Barrel. Man, I wish this was a better card. I don't find it annoying or anything, it's just it can be countered easily, and maybe if it was reworked to be something else, it would be worth it. Like, there's not much to it. It's a balloon and it drops skeletons, you know? Goblins. This is a similar situation as the Spear Goblins. I never use them as much because I prefer the Goblin Gang if I ever need that kind of thing, so yeah, I don't use them. Cannon. I don't know if this is still one of the best counters to Hog, but it can generally distract anything for a few seconds, and I mean, for 3 elixir, I don't mind carrying it. It's not great or anything, I mean, like all buildings, it's okay. Fisherman. When this card came out, I already knew I'd love it. Its ability to pull things to you or away and change the direction of cards, it's nice. I don't use it as much today, but when I feel like using it again, it's a good card. All day long, man, it's a good card. Goblin Drill. I see people using this all the time, and I don't know what it is, to be honest. Maybe the fact that it can travel to the other side and spawn stuff. I personally have not even tried using it, but I have seen people use it. I just don't like it. Battle Ram. I have zero complaints about the Battle Ram. I mean, it can be annoying at times, but it's also easily countered, so I say it's a decent card if you can land it. Three Musketeer. They are so annoying to deal with, especially when you have no hard counter. God, you gotta get creative and try and figure out how to counter these things. I wish they didn't exist. Mortar. I actually love the Mortar, and I was tempted to put it at the highest tier, but It's not like it's a unstoppable card or anything special, it's just the mortar, you know? I decided to put it in good because it's a very fun card to use in my opinion, and it's not as annoying as an Expo, for example. Goblin Huts. Much like the Barbarian Huts, I simply find spawners annoying, and this one is no different. It's less annoying, but annoying is still annoying. Goblin Cage. I don't even know who uses this. When this came out, I tried it once and never again. Not many scenarios where I would need a Goblin Cage. Flying Machine. I don't really like using the Flying Machine, but I guess it's okay. Like, no one ever says they hate or love the Flying Machine, and I feel the exact same way. Elixir Collector. I used to use this a lot paired up with the Golem or Royal Giant decks, but it's been a while and there are many counters to it now, so I want to say it's just decent. Skeleton Dragons. I don't know if I'm using them wrong, but I don't feel like they're worth the 4 elixir. They don't do much. Like, I guess they're okay, but I just wish they were something more, you know? Royal Recruits. Man, no. The only time I use it is for draft or when I randomize my deck. I don't hate them, it's just, it's not worth all that elixir for worse than average troops. Heal Spirits. If it lands and actually does what it's supposed to do, I think it's a good card. And for 1 elixir, man, you can't go wrong, man. Zappies. It's worse than okay. Maybe if they were better and not as expensive. I don't know, man. Battle Healer. I rarely ever use this, but paired with the Elixir Golem, that's a dangerous combo. Not only with the Elixir Golem, but I feel like this can make any push better. This is right below God tier. Wall Breakers. They're okay. I mean, there's not much to say about these guys. Royal Delivery. I've used it a few times, but I never think about using it. I don't feel like it's my type of card, so nah. Earthquake. I'm gonna say this is an okay card. I don't think it's like all that good, but I certainly don't think it should be improved. It's just one of those balance cards that I never think about and often forget it even exists. So yeah. Giants. Good card all day. This is one of the first cards you learn how to use, and it's always been a good meat shield. It's just reliable. When I don't want to use something as heavy as a Golem, the Elixir Golem or the Giant is my first choice. Electro Giants. Out of the couple times I've used it, I seriously just don't understand why it costs so much. I have no plans to use this anymore. I've probably tried it like twice. Mighty Miner. I've used this a couple times, but honestly, I don't understand it as well. I don't know about these new cards, man. Maybe I just need to do a little bit more research or play with them a little more. Like, I know what the card does, but I don't know. It hasn't worked out for me every time I use it, but I also feel like I haven't used it much, so maybe I'll put it right in the middle at okay. I originally had these at wish they were better, but man, I've had different results from the bats than I initially thought. For the cost, it's very valuable, and I'm just gonna put it at good. I like this card. Dark Goblin. To me, it's a good card, only because I have its pretty high level, but I don't know, if when I had it at like level 11, it wasn't as good to me, but now it's becoming a little better, so I guess it just depends on what level you're at, but to me, it's a good card. Lava Hound. I actually love the Lava Hound for the simple fact that it feels like a flying golem, but I just feel like I can never find good enough decks for it. Other than that, it's gonna be a decent tier card. Electro Dragon. It's pretty decent. I mean, I don't use it much, but for 5 elixir, you have essentially a beefier Electro Wizard that is also flying. I don't think it's good though, so decent is where it should go. Clone. I was originally gonna say annoying, but I mean, it's not that bad. It's a fun card to use sometimes, especially with Golem decks, and it's okay. Just one of those cards you either hate or love. P.E.K.K.A. I hate dealing with P.E.K.K.A.s, but over the years it's become easier, and I guess I just learned how to counter it better, so it's not as annoying as it used to be. That might be a bad thing if you like using the P.E.K.K.A., but for me, I like using it once in a while, maybe for a challenge or a draft. Other than that, I feel like it's a decent card to use. So guys, that should be it for this video. That's actually a lot longer than I expected. 107 cards. What the f was I thinking, man? Anyways, with that being said, yeah, I feel like I'm gonna trigger a lot of people, but this list is meant to be just my opinion, my view on these cards. But yeah, feel free to discuss it down below. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. Havoc Gaming out. Peace!